Have you ever found yourself in a foreign country without a clue about the language and suddenly in a karaoke competition? Welcome to South Korea. Picture this. I'm in Seoul, the vibrant capital of South Korea, and I've just stumbled into a pulsating karaoke bar. The atmosphere is electric, and there's an unmistakable hum of anticipation in the air. The locals, with their infectious enthusiasm for music, are belting out pop tunes, their faces glowing under the colorful disco lights. Now, here's the kicker. I don't speak a word of Korean, and my singing skills, well, let's just say that they're usually reserved for the shower. But in South Korea, karaoke is more than just a pastime. It's a cultural rite of passage, a way to forge connections and a testament to the country's love for music and camaraderie. So there I am, a stranger in a strange land, when the microphone is suddenly thrust into my hands. The crowd falls silent, expectantly waiting for me to make my debut on the Korean karaoke stage. I gulp, my heart pounding like a drum. But then I remember an old piece of advice. When in Rome, do as the Romans do. Or in this case, when in Seoul, do as the Soulites do. I choose a song, a universal classic, Queen's Bohemian Rhapsody. As the opening notes fill the room, I take a deep breath and start to sing. The crowd is silent at first, but then they start to join in, their voices mingling with mine in a symphony of camaraderie and shared joy. For a moment, language barriers and cultural differences dissolve, replaced by the universal language of music. The song ends, and to my surprise, the room erupts in applause. I take a bow, feeling like a rock star, albeit a very unexpected one. It's a night that I'll never forget. A night when I learned that sometimes the best travel experiences are the ones we don't plan for. And that's how, my friends, I became a one-night karaoke sensation in South Korea. Scene script. Picture this. You're in a bustling South Korean market, trying to buy a simple souvenir, and you end up buying a live octopus instead. Talk about a slippery situation. Language barriers can be a source of both frustration and amusement when traveling. In South Korea, this is no different. Let's take a moment to appreciate the comical side of these miscommunications, while also acknowledging the importance of learning a few basic Korean phrases. Imagine you're trying to order a delicious bowl of bibimbap, but instead you end up with a plate of jim, which is seasoned seaweed. You might be thinking, seaweed? I didn't sign up for this, but hey, it's all part of the adventure, right? Or perhaps you're trying to find your way to the beautiful Namsan Tower, but you accidentally ask for directions to the nearest bathroom instead. You might get a few strange looks, but let's be honest, it's better to be lost in translation than to be lost in soul. And who can forget the time when you wanted to compliment someone's cute dog, but you ended up saying their dog looked tasty? Awkward indeed. But don't worry, the South Koreans are known for their kindness and understanding. They'll probably just laugh it off and teach you the correct phrase instead. Now, we're not saying you need to become fluent in Korean before your trip, but knowing a few key phrases can go a long way. Saying 안녕하세요 instead of hello, 감사합니다 instead of thank you, and 화장실 어디예요 for where is the bathroom can save you from a world of confusion and embarrassing moments. So while getting lost in translation can lead to some hilarious stories to share back home, it's also a good idea to equip yourself with some basic language skills. After all, travel is all about immersing yourself in a new culture, and what better way to do that than by learning the local language? So remember, when in South Korea, souvenir might just mean seafood. Public transport in South Korea isn't just a ride, it's an adventure. 1 minute you're on a bus, the next you're in a K-pop music video. Let's start with the Seoul subway, a veritable maze of color-coded lines zipping across the city. But it's more than just a transport system. It's a vibrant, pulsating hub of life where you can find anything from underground shopping centers to impromptu K-pop dance-offs. And yes, you heard it right. K-pop isn't just confined to concert halls. It's everywhere. Even as you're waiting for your train, don't be surprised if a flash mob breaks out and starts dancing to the latest hit from BTS or Blackpink. Now let's hop onto the buses. The drivers are the unsung heroes of this tale, navigating the bustling streets of Seoul like seasoned race car drivers. They drive with such gusto that you're left clinging onto the handles, your heart pounding to the rhythm of the latest K-pop song blaring from the speakers. Sometimes, the bus ride can be a mini karaoke session. There you are, sitting innocently, when suddenly the whole bus bursts into song, belting out the chorus of a popular tune playing on the radio. The camaraderie that music brings on these bus rides is something you really have to experience to believe. Let's not forget the taxis. Picture this. You're in a cab, and your driver suddenly turns up the radio and starts singing along, complete with hand gestures and dramatic facial expressions. You're not just in a taxi, you're in a moving K-pop concert. And then there's the music blasting from the speakers at the bus stations, the subway platforms, even inside the trains. It's like the entire country is one big K-pop music video, and you know what? It's absolutely fantastic. So buckle up, because in South Korea, every bus ride comes with a complimentary K-pop concert. In South Korea, ordering food isn't just about what you want to eat, it's about how much heat you can handle. Now let's take a moment to talk about the time I truly underestimated the power of Korean cuisine, particularly its penchant for spice. Picture this. A sunny afternoon in Seoul, a bustling food market, and an overconfident foreigner, yours truly, ready to dive headfirst into the local culinary scene. I confidently pointed at the most delicious-looking dish, a steaming bowl of tteokbokki, rice cakes swimming in a fiery red sauce. The vendor, a sweet-looking grandma, asked something in Korean. I nodded enthusiastically, not understanding a word. A grin spread across her face as she ladled an extra scoop of red paste into my bowl. Fast forward to the first bite. The initial flavor was sublime, a complex melody of sweet, savory, and spicy. But then, the heat kicked in, and it was like a symphony of flaming dragons in my mouth. I gasped for air, my eyes watering as smoke practically billowed from my ears. The market vendors chuckled, clearly amused by my lack of spice tolerance. In another instance, I found myself in a local restaurant, drawn in by the tantalizing aroma of samgyeopsal Korean BBQ. Eager to impress, I asked for the spiciest sauce. The server's eyebrows shot up, but I persisted. As the first piece of marinated pork hit my tongue, it was a flavor explosion. Seconds later, the spice wave hit. I needed a gallon of water and a tub of ice cream to extinguish the heat. From that day forward, I learned a valuable lesson. In South Korea, spice is not just a flavor, it's a way of life. So, the next time you find yourself in a bustling Korean market or a cozy restaurant, make sure to ask how spicy before you order. Because trust me, the last thing you want is to turn into a human firework in the middle of your meal. So unless you want to breathe fire, remember to ask, how spicy, before you order. Well, there you have it. South Korea, a land of unexpected karaoke performances, language mix-ups, K-pop-filled bus rides, and fiery meals. To begin with, if you thought your shower singing sessions were a private affair, think again. In South Korea, you might just find yourself belting out tunes in a karaoke room, or nori bang, with a bunch of newfound friends. Don't worry about hitting all the right notes. It's all about letting loose and having fun. And who knows, you might just discover a hidden talent. Next, let's revisit our linguistic adventures. Remember that time when we ordered bibimbap, but ended up with bulgogi? Well, that's a common mishap in South Korea, where a slight mispronunciation can lead to a delicious surprise. It's all part of the journey, and it's these little mix-ups that make travel stories worth sharing. Now onto our public transport escapades. South Korea's buses and subways are not just a means of getting from point A to B. They're a cultural immersion, where K-pop is the soundtrack to your journey. You might find yourself humming along to BTS or Blackpink before you know it. Lastly, who can forget our fiery food encounters? South Korean cuisine is not for the faint-hearted. From kimchi to tteokbokki, these dishes can set your taste buds ablaze. But don't worry, a swig of the local soju will cool things down. Just remember, it's not a culinary faux pas if you can laugh about it later. In the end, it's these unexpected experiences that make traveling in South Korea a unique and unforgettable adventure. It's not just about visiting tourist spots or ticking off items from your bucket list. It's about embracing the unexpected, laughing at the confusion, and relishing every moment. So, pack your bags, brush up on your Korean, and get ready for an unforgettable adventure in South Korea. Just don't forget to pack your karaoke skills and a bottle of antacid.